Hello, my name is Kendra Abercrombie, and I am the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Manager for the Illinois Supreme Court Commission on Professionalism. If you were not able to join us for part one of this discussion, I would highly encourage you to go back and take part in the wonderful conversation, as I am rejoined today by Katie Liss and Lauren Tuckey, and we are going to continue that amazing conversations that we were having in honor of Women's History Month and equality in the workplace for women. Lauren, many have heard that women disproportionately bear the brunt of emotional labor when it comes to managing routine family and household tasks. But emotional labor also means managing one's emotions to align with the expectations of, say, a workplace. Can you share examples of how women attorneys experience emotional labor and what the profession can do to change these expectations?
There's so much to unpack in that question. And I see this all the time with our members and our, especially our executive board, who really know each other well enough to share their experiences. I mean, we see this constantly. I mean, whether it's the pressures of being a mom but also working in litigation, or whether it's the pressure of really conforming to what society expects a woman to be in a leadership role, for example. I can't, as Women's Bar President, what I've learned is that when I am transactional, it's not taken well. You have to be transactional, exclamation point, transactional, smiley face, how's your day? I mean, that's what society expects from women. It's just, that's what it is. And so, we conform, to the extent that we're able, but it is absolutely true that, women, that the expectations are just much bigger. And as to, this concept of emotional labor, I mean, it's absolutely true. And honestly, this is exactly why women need a bar organization, need networks of other women going through this, because I think, we really need support because it's not easy. And one other thought, we in recognition of this issue, we created the Top Women Lawyers in Leadership Award to allow these women who have risen the ranks to share their advice with other women. And one of the biggest things, and actually commonality among all of them, was flexibility. They just need flexibility at home to be at work when they need to be, flexibility at work to be at home when they need to be. And they just need understanding superiors who recognize that this emotional burden, this emotional labor that's carried by women, especially in litigation and practice of law, that it's met with support and not, a sense of piling on, or this is the threshold, meet it or else. And it's so important to have that support at home, work, bar associations, friends, family. It's just, it's very important.
Thank you. So I'm gonna ask this question to both of you, because I would love for our viewers to get both of your perspectives from this question. Recently, I was able to talk to some women's law student associations about the power of no. And women in the legal field often end up with more on their plates because they say yes more than their male counterparts. For example, women are asked and agree to perform clerical tasks that male counterparts aren't. And I really think that forming this part of your professional identity starts before you enter into your first law firm. And so how can how can you assist women embracing their no and empowering others to do the same? And thinking, starting back from how can you start to embrace that no in law school and continue to hold on to that once you enter into the legal field?
I love this question so much. Maybe it was never so easy for me personally to reach this point. There have been a lot of instances where I've maybe rolled over and done certain things that I'm like, God, really can't deal with this, but I'll just add it to the plate. But the feeling of power that you get when you are able to respectfully articulate no is wonderful. No, and at the end of the day, some people just don't know that they're asking you to that they might be pushing you over the edge a little bit. And I think it's completely okay, to say no, and it's empowering. And I think I love it. It's wonderful.
I agree, Lauren. It's something that I struggle with because I want to do things, and it's just understanding your time management, and it's okay to say no. And that's what I tell my students too. You have to understand what are your boundaries, what's your capacity. Don't go over it, because you're going to burn out, and that can happen very, very quickly. So I think, Lauren said, do it respectfully. Make sure that you understand that, there's a ranking when you're at a job. So you need to do that respectfully, but know that your time is important. And if you can't do it, you can't do it. And as long as you get your job done, that should be number one, and that should be the focus. What you do beyond that, that's definitely up to you, but it's okay to say no if that is not technically your job. But there's a fine balance to it. So it's something that I work on every day, and it's something that I think everyone should work on. And Kendra, I applaud you for talking to law students about that, because that's something you absolutely should learn early on.
And even on a practical level, I hate to sound like a broken record, but it's so important to have a mentor. Because if you're confronted with a certain issue, sometimes it's really helpful to talk through it. And for just to understand, like, is this normal? Is this not? How should I confront this? And I guess I make it sound too easy to say no, because sometimes, like, there really are genuinely situations that you find yourself in where it's like, okay, if I say no, there might be real consequences. But on the other hand, if I don't say no, then there are mental consequences, right? Like emotional consequences. And so it's not easy to navigate, but I think people need to hear that they're not alone, and we're not reinventing the wheel here. I think that, women have faced this forever. And so it's so important, to have people you trust, mentors who you trust, who you can really just talk things through with. It's so important.
I definitely agree with having a mentor that you feel that you can trust in the legal field. It's one of the most valuable assets I think you can have throughout your career. I know I've had several different types of mentors for several different aspects of my life and career, and that trust aspect of knowing that they're there to help guide you, and they also, know the lay of the land, it definitely makes a difference. Lauren and Katie, I want to thank both of you so much for joining us today. This has definitely been a lot of great information, a lot of great resources provided for our listeners who may not have known about some of what both of your organizations do or provide for people in the profession. So I hope that they have been listening and they take advantage of some of those resources that we discussed today. And if you are joining us for the first time, please like and share this video and subscribe to our channel today to stay updated on new episodes and on future Reimagining Law episodes in the future. Thank you for joining us. Have a great day.